Hello, my name is Alexander Ermenkov, and today is day 3, week 3 of Ruling Reality Basics. Today I'm going to explain you about the topic of identity. This is something that is very personal for me because this was the first thing that I took from one seminar that I had with Peter Sage in Bulgaria, where he was explaining identity and where I decided to check if this really works. So before starting, I would like to tell you something about consciousness. Consciousness is one of the topic of research that is interesting because this is the only thing that is giving us as people the possibility to understand if there is something outside of what we really think that we are. Are we just a body? Are we just a mind? And also there are much more questions that are connected with consciousness and why consciousness and identity are so important to understand and for us as people to realize that this is a subject that is very important. At least for me, this is something that is helping me to deepen my understanding about identity, and basically in order to understand it and to grasp the concept, I have gone through one exercise, and I can challenge you also to go through an exercise. Maybe if you start asking yourself the questions, who am I without my own experience? Who am I without everything that I have around me? Then you are going to start a little by little to understand the meaning of identity. And this is a question that is interesting, and this is a question that is very hard to answer, but if you go into this direction and if you try to understand it, then you can come to the core of your being and understand how to work with identity. Maybe I can tell you my story when I decided to become 90 kilogram person. Then when I heard that I am the one who is deciding who I am to be. And we had such an example that everything that is on your body, it is like you are putting a Velcro with a label. I am this, or I am that, or I am this special person, or I am somebody that is always angry, or I am somebody that is always regretting when something is happening. You can put whatever labels you want to yourself, but then you need to understand that you are not your labels. All the labels that you put over yourself are part of what is the Velcro that is put all over your image and your identity of who you really are. So if you start to stripping everything that you think that you are, then you are going to come to the core and the understanding of who you really are. And for me, then when I tried this experience, I was 137 kilogram person, and I decided, okay, maybe I will try something new. I will put a new identity on myself that I am a 90 kilogram person. So I didn't have any problem with being 137 kilograms, but I decided to change my identity and to put a new identity of a 90 kilogram person and a guy who is going to be 90 kilogram person as long as he is alive here on this earth. So when I decided to do this, I put this identity in my inner being as a Velcro, and then my outer reality was still that I was 137 kilogram person. But this is a way that I decided to start working with identity. So identity is also something that is part of the mindset fitness, but it is working very strongly into connection with your consciousness, because actually your consciousness and who you are, you need to understand that you are not the identities that you are putting. And for me it was very important when I understood that I can be in the same time maybe 5 different things. For my children, I'm not the businessman, I'm not the big guy. For my children, I am with the identity of the father. This is the only identity I want my children to see. In my business, there, I'm not the family guy that I want to transcend and to place my family experience into my business and to try to make everybody in my business part of my family. I'm not putting the family identity of a big father into my business. In my business, I'm the boss. I'm the one who is following the processes, who is making the vision. There, I have co-workers, we have common vision, and there my identity is totally different than my identity in home. What about my relationship with my wife? Who am I there when I'm in relationship with my wife? In my intimate relationship, I am her soulmate. I am her partner. I'm not just a friend. There, I'm everything for her, and there I have totally different identity. So I showed you 3 examples how I am can be 3 different things. And before, in the past, when I didn't know this exercise and when I didn't implement this thing in my life, then it was very hard for me, because when I come back home in the evenings and I was with the identity of a business person, I was going in my home and my children were not seeing their father. They were seeing a guy who is a businessman, a guy who thinks he's now here the boss in the family, and then everything was in a total mismatch. So in order to understand reality, in order to understand consciousness, in order to understand identity, you need to learn how to work with the different identities you want to have in your life, and of course, long term, how to move forward in reality, and whatever you have decided that you are, then to go through life, to go through reality, and to be committed, and just to project whatever you are. Something else that I would like to explain to you and to give you as an example is the answer of the question who we really are as people. This is very important, and this is something that I learned from one of my other mentors, Dan Sullivan, who is teaching me in one of his programs about how to be an entrepreneur, and there he has one subject about uniqueness. And this is very interesting topic, because identity and uniqueness are a little bit connected, and also this is giving you power to live with your authenticity long term. So if we go in the abstract for a moment and think what is the difference between any person on the planet Earth, we are totally generic. We are the same. We have the same brains. We have the same nervous system. We have almost everything similar. We are born, we go through family life, we go through adult life, then we come to the end of our lives, and then we die. So there is not any difference between any human being on the planet. Then what is making us unique, what is making us something that we define ourselves as unique people. The only thing that is making unique you, the only thing that is making unique me, and every one of us can be so proud of himself, because there is and there will never be someone who is exactly like you. And what is defining you is your experience. Nobody else on this planet, even if you have a twin brother or a twin sister, can have the same experience like everybody else. And Dan Sullivan was dividing the person's life into extremes, into different parts of the being. So one part of yourself in this exact moment is your past, your experiences. Your experiences has defined you, and you need to understand that everything that you were till this moment, your history, your past, is actually your asset. This is everything that you have. This is everything that has defined you. So use your asset. Learn to extract all the positive of already what you have experienced. Of course, you can tell me, Alex, you don't understand. I don't have an asset. You don't know my history. My history is maybe not like your history. How can I turn into asset so many bad things that have happened in my life? I am telling you, whatever has been your history, this is the only thing that is defining you, and this is the only place where you can find your asset, and through experience and through gathering awareness, you can grow and you can expand and you can find your uniqueness. Then the other part of you that is defining you and that is making you totally different than any other person on the planet Earth is your future. You have totally different future than me. You have totally different potential than everybody else on this planet. And why is this so, Alex? You can ask me. Because I'm 100% sure that you can never make the same choices that I am making. And this is because you already are defined by the experiences that you already had, and now you are able to make so much more different decisions, so much more different potential expansion of yourself. So have in mind these two things. Your uniqueness is based on your experiences, and every one of us have potential because we already have future left in us. Even till the last minute of your life, you still have potential, you still have future. So these are the two things that are defining your uniqueness. Of course, there is one more topic that is giving you the purpose and the meaning of your life, and this is something that is again connected with consciousness, but this is another topic that I'm not going to tell about now, but you need to learn this. Your identity, your consciousness, your experience, your awareness, all of these things are defining you. So let me give you now another example that is going to tell you how important you are and how important is for you to understand that identity is a very important thing you need to work with in your life. You need to learn how to take away some of your old identities and how to put a new identity. This is an allegory I'm going to use, and you are going now to learn why you are so important. You can tell to me, Alex, don't tell me all about this. I'm just one person. I'm just one of almost 7 or 8 billion people already on the planet. Do you know that almost 100 years ago on the planet there were not more than 1 billion people living? Now we are 6-7 times more. And do you know what is my example where I'm going to tell you why you are so important for the reality and for the construct? Now imagine a television. You know that before time, just to have a LED television, just to have an HD screen was something very good. It was something that is giving you the meaning that this television is very good. Now we have 4K, we have 8K televisions. And the difference is that you have such a density of pixels on the TV screen that now the picture is much more better. What is happening in our reality here on this planet while we are living? Why, Alex, you are telling me that there is such a difference if we were only 1 billion and now if we are 7 billions or 8 billions? It is only meaning that I'm even less worthy now because we are so many people around. Who is caring about me? Let me tell you how reality is actually working. If you imagine that now we are 7 billion people, these 7 billion people are 7 billion pixels. Now reality is working in such a high definition. There is so much variety. There is so much uniqueness that has never been on the planet. And your own pixel that you are, maybe in reality, is so important because it is giving its own uniqueness. That's why, according to me, your identity, the way you are living and constructing your life, and the way you are learning how to work with this topic is very important, not only for you as an individual person, but also for all reality. Because according to my explanation, every one of us, even if we are just a small pixel, we are part of the generating of the reality and the meaning and the purpose of why we are all here. So the most important things that you need to understand is when you are working with your inner self, with your inner being, is to make your own identities, to decide who you want to be and to be the one that you have already decided to be. Identity is important about your inner world. How are you positioning yourself in reality and then in the normal life? And the second thing that is very important is, after you have identity, also to learn how you want to be positioned in reality, where there are a lot of people like yourself, where we are calling it objective reality, and there you need to decide what is your ultimate strategic positioning, who you want to be in the manifestation of life daily. This is something that you need to decide. If you want to be just a normal, small, little person that doesn't care about his life, he is waiting only for somebody else to tell him what to do, then this is your ultimate strategic positioning. But if you decide to work with identity, to decide to be something different, then you will be able to change your ultimate strategic positioning, and then you can move through reality in totally different way. So this is the topic of identity. It is a very broad topic. It is very much connected to the consciousness, and it is very much connected to everything that is going to be and is potentially possible to happen with you as a human being. So thank you for watching and bye bye.